Something that we didn't yet touch upon really, I think, would be like, what if for, like, say, for an individual, this archetype of the self has become like unbalanced. It's not like I mean, like, I guess it would be like, what would you say? Like
Yeah, because I didn't really think of it as there being a polar opposite of the self, really, but more like a negative process of integration. But I guess that would
yeah.
also kind of be an imbalance. But yeah, I've got a little bit of notes on that. Maybe we'll spark some discussion here.
Yeah, great.
Sounds awesome.
So yeah, we have that meme floating around the Fox Den. It was originally from American Dad, but I think we put a Pepe over his face. But he's looking at this gauge, this barometer, right? And it's flipping over towards the rightmost two sections, and the needle is right in the middle between two of them. One of them is secret esoteric knowledge, and it's just at the end about to spill over into the final one, which is mental illness. So, Jung talked about how kind of the negative integration of these things can lead to sort of like megalomania or other things like that. So, I think you see a lot of that kind of with recreational drug use for sure, and maybe in like conspiracy and stuff, like the whole lizard people kind of thing. But I kind of saw it to really distill it into kind of modern terms and what I kind of think is going on. So Jung had the 4 functions, like what was it? Thinking, feeling, intuiting, and I always forget the 4th one. But so like the 4, what is it, Base?
Was it like perceiving / judging, wasn't it? Or am I?
Sounds about right. Something like that.
Something
it
like
doesn't,
that.
It doesn't totally matter. But there's 4 functions. And you can get in a way individually or even culturally, or as a society, you can get to where that is off balance, right? You're supposed to be using all 4 functions in relatively equal balance. But when you are in our world, say, like we all are, you could use one function so much that the other 3 could become atrophied, right? And so in our world, that would be the thinking function. And so all the other 3 aspects would fall into the unconscious, right? And so we were kind of talking about the tower, like the tower card, or this idea of like the boomer tower in the previous discussion. And say if you were, as a person or culturally, you build these towers. These are your institutions. These are your social paradigms. And a tower built in an unbalanced manner is doomed to collapse on its own weight. It's not built up to spec. It's not built correctly. And so then that feeds into the idea of, remodeling the tower. Sometimes you just need a little occasional remodeling, but if things get really out of whack, then that tower is gonna fall. And proper foundations can make sure the transitionary periods are not so catastrophic. And see, that kind of leads into my tarot talk too. If I can get that out of the way, unless someone wants to say anything about that. We'll kind of circle back around to it, though. To negative integration.
Sounds good to me. Going into the tarot after this, regarding the boomer tower and all that, because I mean, some of it goes into like the whole Trito stuff, but we kind of already touched upon that and some of the Thunder God stuff as well. So, yeah, take it away, Raine.
So yeah, on the last talk, we ended up, we did the tower and the star. So conveniently, this talk goes right through to the next cards. So I'm going to gloss over Moon, Sun, and Final Judgment and get to the World, which is the final card of the Tarot High Arcana. So remember, we had the Tower that you or we, you can go individual or collective, have built, either collapses or is struck with that bolt of illumination. We are grounded and humbled by the Star card. And then we move through the murky depths of the Moon and then out into the light of the Sun, refined by the Final Judgment to then flourish as the World. You could think of that as kind of like the phoenix shining brightly after rising from the ashes. So the Tower through the Moon often represents the darkest part of the journey, but then yields the highest reward when you get through it, right? And you can look at the root word of moon, or another word for moon, ancient word for moon, is luna. That would be, the root word of lunacy. So again, you see the negative integration of the self having, dire consequences like megalomania or mental illness. But if you push through that dark night of the soul into the sun, and then finally that kind of like creative birthing process of the world, you do get to enjoy your momentary peace. You get a little slice of individuation, individual or collective, and you share it around the bonfire with your sangha, and you get ready to take your trip around the sun again. And some people kind of think that the result of this journey, the boon, the reward, would be a kind of new interaction between conscious and unconscious, which would result in an expansion of ego awareness, right? So your ego awareness is getting wider and wider. You're getting closer to that perfect and unattainable image of the self. And on the typical Rider-Waite-Smith deck of the world, you had this kind of, it looks like a feminine figure, although some people think it's supposed to be vaguely androgynous. And there's this elliptical wreath around her. I think it's intentionally supposed to almost look like scales, like the Ouroboros. But it's not the, lizard mind scaled Ouroboros, but this heavenly wreath, elliptical and feminine. And it is like divine creation spewing out into the world. And the Hermetic deck from the Order of the Golden Dawn kind of updated it for modern times. They took the world and they turned it into the universe card. Kind of like more modern terminology as we look up at the stars in a new light. And the somewhat androgynous but feminine figure of the world is replaced with basically the cosmic man. They call it the figure of the Great One of the night and time.
For the entire episode, please check out the description or click on the end screen. And maybe see you next time.